Graduation.
I told you I was going.
I had to drive with Dad.
I'm so insecure. This party is about to get nuts.
I love this song.
I'm here with the OGs.
I need a burrito.
This cannot be happening. No one will really know what we did. Did anyone see us that night?
No. Why do you ask?
Even if someone knows what happened, they can't prove it.
I'm telling you, more people are going to die.
This can't be a coincidence. I think that she might be the killer.
You're just trying to save yourself.
I don't think any of us know what we're really capable of.
We were all the worst people I know. Totally fake. Sociopath. Drug addict.
All you do is lie.
Good sex with the one person I love. Hello?
Everything was fine until she came back. She's not what we thought she was.
You need to tell the truth.
What if I don't know the truth?
There is no redemption in this life.
God, it's brutal out here.
Wow. Now, how do I get rid of that damn thing? That's what I want. Go away. Hi. How are we all?
Hello.
Oh, hang on. I have to unmute Peter.
No, I
there.
muted
No,
myself
Peter,
because there's noise and children, and I'm going to have some microphone issues, so I will just mute myself when I think it's going to be terrible.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang on, when you think it's going to be terrible?
Yeah.
Do you mean the show or our show?
Yeah, I was
Or
gonna say,
It could go
this
either
could
way.
go either way, Pete. Yeah. So hi, welcome to some kind of periodic table of awesome via the wonders of StreamYard, and I keep looking at it here because I'm looking at your faces. Not
we
the camera.
ourselves are not 100% awesome right now, but we are trying very hard.
No, in the best ways of just cobbling shit together and trying to make things work, we are of course running this entire stream off my phone. So good times. Nothing could possibly go wrong here. Pete, you sound like you're in a busy time too. What spit and gaffer tape are you holding together tonight?
You don't want to know what's like. This is not a professional setup that's happening here. This is.
Are you in a cupboard?
I'm in a bedroom. I'm in my childhood bedroom. With my computer on a pillow, on a box, on a bed, and a lamp in front of me. And just to top it off, the microphone on my headphones isn't working, so I'm pretty sure you're just hearing the live mic on the computer. So it's going to sound really great. Sorry about that.
Doesn't sound so bad.
No. I just know that my phone and little internet wheels in my phone is pedaling so fucking fast that it could be the bad, it could be the net, it could be anything. You know what? I don't know whether or not it really matters because we're going to be talking about this film, show, thing. Yep.
It's a thing. Should it be? We don't know. Let's discuss.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So, first of all, before we do get stuck into it, I want to know how many of you were fans of the original film?
Yes. I love 90s slasher horror. I think it's such an amazing subgenre of its own in the whole of the horror fandom.
Do you know what I also found out just today, though?
What?
The original film is not the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. There was a book in the 70s, a YA thriller book in the 70s where apparently nobody died, and the author was a bit miffed that it got turned into a big slasher. teen movie in the 90s.
Okay.
So I Know What You
So
Did Last Summer.
hang on. What happened last summer then? Like, if nobody
Yeah, what was
died,
the
what's
book
the
about?
Same general premise. The manslaughter bit at the beginning was the same, and the person coming after the group of teenagers for manslaughter a year afterward, but it was just like a lot less and maybe kind of more teen drama. If I'd figured this out before today, I would have read it and told you, but I only just worked this out today.
You know what, Pete? I'm exactly the same, because I was looking at a bunch of imagery because I was trying to put together graphics and stuff like that. And I saw a thing that was the cover of this, or the poster for this, the poster for the 90s film, and then another poster. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And looked at it and went, it's a book. Yeah.
And it did colour my perception of how I should consider this reboot, and whether I should rate it as a reboot of a 90s movie that maybe wasn't great, but it was not great in a terrific way, or consider it as, you know, maybe just another loose adaptation of source material that I'm not even familiar with, and does that change the way I think about it? Possibly not, but
yeah, I mean, the more I feel like we're still sort of dancing around it because we know that we want to keep people on our toes, but I'm gonna say it's not great.
I don't want anyone on my toes. That sounds painful.
Yeah. It's really
well. Look,
not
okay.
great.
So here's the thing. I Know What You Did Last Summer, written by Kevin Williamson. Apparently, he wrote it before Scream, and it was made after, which is, you know, why Scream was kind of more popular and considered to be, you know, wittier and a better work. And I Know What You Did Last Summer was probably kind of more kind of run-of-the-mill run and scream and blood kind of slasher film.
It felt fairly obvious, and it was doing what so many other slasher things have done.
They were very much in the same vein with, like, here's the red herring on who you think the killer is, and then we flip it on its head at the end.
Yeah, and like lots of like camp drama of running and screaming and yelling, and it's kind of what made it fun. It's like, what I liked about I Know What You Did Last Summer is that it wasn't an amazing horror film, and it didn't make me that scared, but it was like a fun camp dramatic teen watch with some of the biggest teen, you know, not they weren't teens at the time, but stars that were attracting the teen audience of the time.
I love that. They're never
I was going to say teen stars, but that makes it sound like they're teens. But you know what I mean.
No,
I was a teen,
like
and they were like all of my idols.
Like all good
Any actor
teenagers
from the
in the
90s
90s, they're about 30.
3 names. Yeah.
Yes.
So it feels weird to me to go from that to what we've been served as a series. And look, it is possible to have a fun slasher series that holds as a series and gives you all of that camp, fun, running and screaming and drama that I Know What You Did Last Summer gave to us. But I Know What You Did Last Summer, the series, doesn't even be attempting to serve us any of that. So now I'm a little bit confused as to what it is.
What the point of it?
It really makes me wonder, is this the Gen Z version of what we were into in the 90s?
I don't know. I feel so disconnected. I'm like, is this hitting that target audience, and I just don't get it?
No, it is the children who are wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I started watching it, and it's been a long time since I've seen the original film, but I still feel like I had a reasonable kind of clue as to what the setup was. You know, it was kind of like, okay, somebody accidentally kills somebody, and then a year later, a terrifying guy with a boat hook man thing, you know,
You
comes
really
back
should
and
go and
starts
rewatch
killing
the
people.
movie.
Yeah. I rewatched the movie today. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if both the movie and the series teaches any of us anything, it's that if you're not a medical professional, you shouldn't decide if someone's dead or not. Just do CPR until a doctor gets there.
Yeah.
And call an ambulance.
If you're
Yeah.
a teenager with no medical experience, don't just be like, they're dead. Let's cover it up.
Bitch be dead. Oh, well, yeah, let's especially because it's like I guess the thing that gets me about this show is just how completely laissez-faire with death the entire fucking island appears to be. Like families, parents, you know, everybody around the place, the dude in the convenience store, everyone's just like, oh yeah, person died, whatever, cool. I'm like, what? Like, this is horrific. People are dying in awful ways, and nobody seems particularly perturbed by this.
Yeah. It's not just the death that they're flippant about, but it's also like the recreational use of drugs in a small town community.
Among teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Everybody knows about it. Everybody's fine with it, and it's yeah. And who knows? Maybe this is, as a few people said, is this the Zoomer kind of lifestyle that we are just completely out of fucking touch with?
I feel like it. Because I could put this on par with a show called Euphoria starring Zendaya. And I don't know if anybody attempted to watch it, but I did because I thought, oh, cool, Zendaya. But I'm like, is this what kids do these days? Like hardcore party drugs? And I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, why are 15-year-olds supplying and taking hardcore party drugs? And now I started watching this show. I'm like, oh shit, it's the same thing again. I'm like, this is Euphoria, but with slasher. But even the slasher stuff is very few and far between and not visceral enough. So it's kind of hard to place this show.
It feels more like a murder mystery than a slasher because we're 5 episodes in and we've only really, I mean, this isn't spoilery. This is just an overview. We've only really had one on-screen murder 5 episodes in. Everything else so far has just been bodies kind of turning up and not even one per episode. So it's kind of hard to group it in the slasher genre box.
I was looking at it thinking, okay, well, there's only 4 or 5 of them in the original group, so this is going to be a short series if we're like one death per episode or something like that. But no, because, and I've got to put my hand up to it, I only got as far as episode 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm my apologies. I tried real hard, but it was a fucking struggle street. Yeah. And so so by the end of episode 5, we've still only had one of our leads die.
Well, maybe not. End of episode 5, I'm pretty sure Burrito Girl just copped it, but I didn't really see who it was.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a spoiler for anyone.
At the end of.
Yeah, can I just say, everyone in the chat, are you cool if we just spoil this thing the whole way through because we're being upfront with it being trash? Like,
there is a big kind of plot point that is a twist, and I put that in inverted commas because who didn't pick it? That comes at the end of episode 1, and it's kind of hard to talk about the series even in general terms without talking about that twist. So I think, I mean, we can put it off for as long as possible.
I don't know. We've got a few comments saying just go for it. So.
I was going to say, the chat appears to be giving not a single fuck at the moment.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, honestly, I mean, we know our community, and if you guys don't pick this twist within the first third of episode 1, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
Very surprised.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are saying, you know, they know the plot from the original film.
This is a little bit different,
but
though.
Okay.
Yeah, this twist isn't a twist. This isn't a plot point from the movie that is this twist in episode 1. But it like it is kind of the basis of a lot of what's going on, so it's kind of hard to discuss it otherwise.
Okay, I mean, look, we can.
Let's
Okay,
just
is
do
there anything that we need to talk about that is good here?
I mean, okay, look, I have thought about it because I don't want to like completely write it off because I accept that I'm probably no longer the target audience for this. So I kind of accept that. I accept that maybe we were expecting a slasher because the film was a slasher and that this never purported to be a slasher, although it kind of did a little bit in the first 2 episodes and then just stopped. But there are some really big big general problems that I have with it that just kind of shit me off in this day and age that makes me less willing to kind of give it a lot of slack. And that is, for example, I don't understand why the main character needs to be a slender white girl in this day and age. Like, sorry, I'm bored. I'm bored by that. I'm bored by lack of diversity on screen. And especially because they've decided to set it in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You know, like and do things like have Hawaiian funerals where none of the people involved in the person being are Hawaiian.
The funeral, you know, the person that the funeral is for is not Hawaiian.
White. It's white. It's very white. And like stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? You guys aren't even trying. Like, you're not like, I'm sorry. No, like this is boring. I'm bored. I'm bored by the lack of diversity in what we're seeing on screen. I am bored by tone deafness that just shouldn't be a thing, particularly in something that I think maybe I don't get because it's aimed at Gen Z. Like Gen Z actually picks this shit up. So you would think something aimed at Gen Z, if it was going to be successful, wouldn't be so tone deaf in a lot of this kind of stuff. So I'm not inclined to cut it a lot of slack.
So much of it sort of plays to the lowest version of a trope as well. So, you know, you've got your lead character who may or may not be bisexual. You've got her friend who's got the best gay BFF gay friend who, you know, is then revealed to be banging a much older man and stuff like that. And there's things in it that feel like they're paying lip service to progressive, you know, modern storytelling and going, okay, yeah, we've got characters who are gay, bi, whatever, but
do a lot of drugs.
But the whole thing still feels super fucking heteronormative and like really just bland.
There is also like a really gross character point with one of these extremely slender young women characters where, as a response to trauma, she binge eats and streams it, and then her mum has to, like, you know, put her in a camp so that, like, because like the worst thing you can possibly be after a traumatic event is like to get fat. And it's just like there is so much of this shit that's so surface level that and you know, that particular one is one that shits me because that is just a horrible trope.
I mean, it
and
reminds
a lazy trope.
Reminds me a little bit of like the discourse that came out about the Netflix show 13 Reasons Why. Like it was broaching topics that needed to be taken very seriously and done very carefully, but was done with such a level of ignorance that it was causing a lot of issues. And I feel like this is probably another one of those series where they put a little disclaimer at the start or the end of the episode, but they're not really addressing the issues of self-harm and body dysmorphia or anything like that.
Insatiable was another one that did the same thing.
That self-harm bit really annoyed me quite badly because it was like, okay, you're going to show that a character is self-harming and cutting, and then not deal with it, not do anything about it other than use it as a plot point for this is how, you know, somebody tries to blend in, and you're like, what?
Well, also
okay.
uses the plot point of that. Oh, see, you know, that character is fucked up.
Yeah.
But then
They're not
not
perfect.
actually explore it at all.
Yeah.
You know. So no slack is cut by me.
No.
That's just a warning when it comes to numbers, because there is so much of this shit. Like, if Gen Z is a target audience, then I feel like the creators of this kind of thing should be doing better for that target audience than this. I didn't feel as strongly about it till I started talking, and now that I've finished talking, I'm like, no slack.
Yeah.
No slack.
Absolutely. It doesn't
Also, can we
deserve it
talk
because
about the posters?
What?
yes.
I don't understand it, but I'm thinking maybe after watching episode 5, might have a smaller understanding. They broke into somebody's house in episode 5 and they had beehives, and now I'm wondering if that was honey on their faces in the poster.
I think it may be what was intended. So I'm just gonna
although I have no idea on what the significance could possibly be.
Maybe there'll be a honey murder at some point.
But
I don't know.
It kind of feels like it's a reverse burying of the lead, though. Like, you're giving it away now.
Yeah.
Like,
And
if
you've
it's
got
a
this
show
whole
about
thing of
murder, why isn't it blood?
all of these characters that inexplicably just have some kind of colorful goo on their face. And
well, I mean, we know Gen Zs love slime.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing.
It's definitely it's something. But as I said, like as I was putting together the graphics for you guys, well, I mean, maybe it's just the egg on their fucking faces after they've realized they're in this fucking show.
Yeah. Can I also point out, I'm a little bit annoyed that they have the blonde girl on there twice, because it is the same actress playing twins. And to put both of them on the poster, is that like weird to anybody else?
Especially if that's a thing that you're trying to keep as some I don't know. Are you trying to keep that as a plot point? Are you trying to keep that secret? I don't.
I think that's probably because they don't want you to know at the very beginning of the show who is going to be in more than 1 or 2 episodes. So they just put all of the characters on the poster, and they're like, "This is a show about all of these people, and none of them are only going to be in 1 or 2 episodes."
But also, like, okay, something that really bugged me in that first episode is that you've got twins. That's fine. And I don't know. That's not a spoiler, is it? That's not something that needs to be held back on. Cool. Okay. So you've got the 2 lead characters, which are twins, and yet, I mean, I'm sorry, but they seem to hate each other, yet they both show up to the party wearing exactly the same fucking clothes.
No.
But the same top or the same shorts. And
similar outfit.
Yeah. And having exactly the same hair. And I know why, but it just
didn't she get a makeover by her sister, who basically turned her into like looking exactly like her?
But how many twins do you know still go around with like the same hairdos? Even if I don't know many twins, I've got to be honest. Like, one was pulled back in a ponytail, the other one was out, but they both still have the same beach waves.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt so obvious and so kind of lazy.
Yes.
And this whole thing of like, oh, she's a twin. And also, I hate to say it, but the actress is perhaps not good enough to really sell me on the idea that they're 2 different people.
Yeah, not trying hard at all. I mean, they're really relying. I think they're going for a bit of subterfuge. So there is a little bit of confusion once you get to the end of that first episode. But I don't know. It just kind of feels like, oh, she's not even trying to like affect her voice or anything to maybe show that they're 2 different people, because news alert, identical twins don't have the same voice.
No.
They do have like slight differences. It's just, it does feel lazy, but at the same time, I think they are trying to like, trick the viewer into wondering who's who. But when they're supposed to be playing together in the same scene, that just becomes really fucking dumb.
Yeah. It was bad. And worst of all, it was confusing. and I know it was intended to be, but like within that first episode, Blue MM's saying, got super confused in the first episode. I think you're meant to, but at the same time, I feel like there's a kind of confusion where you go, okay, I know I'm meant to be confused, and there's this one where you're kind of like, is this just shitty editing? Oh, hang on, no, okay, so there's twins. Hang on, and it's not until another half episode or even a full episode or two later that you realize that party is going to be a thing that they keep cutting back to, and they're going to keep showing you bits of this party. And so the fact that the party seems to be completely lacking in temporal logic is completely fine.
I mean, there are episode 5, we're still having flashbacks to the party. The entire show is based on a reveal of character through flashback format.
Yeah. But I just want to point out that, like, with episode 5, there is still that weird temporal logic is missing because it's like, how did she get there first and then there second? And now I'm confused.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Don't think too hard.
Yeah.
It's not a show that invites you to think too hard.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's really not.
Sadly.
In fact, there are quite a few times where it actively says, could you not? Really appreciate it if you didn't think too hard about that, because otherwise we're all going to have to go home, and we're having a nice time here on Hawaii. Though I got to say, this is the first show that I've looked at that I've watched and gone, Hawaii looks a bit shit.
Oh.
I mean, it's rough, but I looked at it and I was like, these are not the nicest areas of Hawaii. This is not, Hawaii 5-0 where they're showing the sexiest bits of the place. It feels a bit shit, and
I'm
shot
pretty
kind
sure
of
they
dour.
live in the suburbs. They're in the suburbs.
Yeah.
They're not in the tourist hotspot.
It's supposed to feel small town. If you remember, the film was in like a fishing village in North Carolina. That looked a lot like Dawson's Creek, North Carolina. That's why it's kind of, the move to Hawaii feels really weird to me, because like fishing village in a small town feels kind of right.
Yeah.
For this kind of story. But there was a terrible car sequence at the very, very beginning where you just kept getting these like badly framed kind of moving shots out of the car and be like, yeah, I get it, you're in Hawaii. Like, let's kind of move on from this driving through Hawaii with this teenage character who weirdly is smoking, because what teenagers do that anymore?
Yeah.
They all vape now. Like,
yeah, totally.
I don't understand kids. I'm so old.
No.
It's not good.
Yeah. that really is it. Like, I honestly looked at it and I thought, oh man, I've been to Hawaii. I love it. It's a beautiful place. I enjoyed tooling around it. And this, I was like, oh, it looks kind of drab and shit. And I don't particularly want to go there again. And I'm like, wow.
Aww.
Sorry.
Well, I'll tell you to watch Doogie Kamealoha instead, because that's a much better portrayal of Hawaii than this show.
Well, good, because I'm also worried that like Hawaii is full of drug peddling teenagers who
weird.
spend a lot of time in brightly lit parties that are full of annoying people. So, okay, are there any of the characters that we like at all?
No.
Okay, Jill.
I don't like any of the people in this show. Oh, wait. Okay. No, I don't like any of the characters, but the dad is hot. Oh my God.
That was kind of a fun moment.
Keep watching it for the hot dad, and that is it.
We get this like intro that's this like not great montage of driving through Hawaii with this not great voiceover track, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to watch this. But then hot dad, that evened it out a bit.
So there you go, Tari.
Happened.
That's and anyone else who happens to like bearded, tall, muscular, ex-surfer like kind of dudes. Yeah, there's some hot dad action in there.
think of Chris Evans at the start of Infinity War, the longer hair and the beard.
No wonder Jill is like,
Yes.
triggered. Hot dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, total daddy vibes.
Hot dad can get it, but
Mm.
I also say that hot dad has some fucking weird attitudes to death and his daughters.
Okay.
Okay,
So
we've
we
got to
just
get
need
to
we need to
okay.
talk about
So we've
the
talked about it a
spoiler.
bit. We will
Yeah,
reveal
we've
the
danced around
episode
it.
1 twist that you probably will hopefully see coming if you do choose to watch it, even after listening to us. And that is that the manslaughter incident is twin on twin.
Twin slaughter. It's twin slaughter.
It's twin
Wow.
slaughter. But
There is no possible way you could have phrased that any better.
extra big twist, it's not the twin that is the twin that everyone thinks it is.
It's not the
And
shit twin.
for
That's the
some
party
reason,
twin.
instead of being like, oh no, I'm this twin, she's like, I'll just keep pretending to be this other twin they've mistaken me for and now have to take on her entire life. For some reason that's not actually fully explained.
No.
Except that apparently because they don't like the shit twin as much, they wouldn't protect her by covering up her twin slaughter.
It's so weird. Wait, can we call it twinicide?
So that's the episode 1 twist. It's not a huge spoiler because it does happen right up front. And like I said, if you cannot see it coming, I'm a bit sad for you. I don't like that sounds really bitchy. Did not mean like look,
No.
you might not see it coming. It's not subtle in the setup.
No, at all. I mean,
At
also the
all.
fact that you've got lead actress who is one of the twins, and she's not good at being a twin. You can guarantee
it's kind of a
that
good
there is
thing that she killed off her alter ego.
there's a director somewhere going, fucking hell. Okay, well, it's a good thing you're dead at the end of this episode, because I mean, that way we don't have to try and get you to act in 2 different ways. You can stick with the one acting style that is apparently the only one you know, which is slightly pouty fucking tediousness.
Yeah. Can I just point out it's the girl that was the influencer from Jumanji, the new Jumanji.
Oh,
I don't think I've watched it.
You haven't seen the new Jumanji?
Got Doc Forrest in the chat saying sounds like an episode of Passions. It feels like an episode of
100%.
Passions to watch.
Very
like
much
it's
so.
very Days of Our Lives. So shit twin, and that we
Let's
say
call
shit
them
twin
the
because
introvert
friends,
and the extrovert twin.
introverted
Yeah.
twin who I obviously relate a bit more to,
Yes.
even though they're both a bit shit.
For
Comes
one thing,
clean
you don't want to be at
to
the
hot
party.
dad.
Mm.
And then hot dad is like, okay, well, you're just going to have to pretend to be your sister for the rest of your life so that we can protect you and you don't have to turn yourself in. And now suddenly we have like this weird situation where she now has to pretend to be the extrovert twin.
Who's into party drugs and is bi.
And who everybody liked, including
Yeah.
the dad. Like even the dad admitted that he liked that twin better. And I'm like,
Oh no, but
how?
there's an episode 5 reveal that there was more going on between
Yeah.
extrovert twin and hot dad than
Okay.
initially meets the eye.
Okay, so one thing that really bugged the fuck out of me though was that scene where Hot Dad is talking to introvert twin about the whole, hey, so your sister's dead, so you're going to have to pretend to be her. Is that they cut around probably the single most interesting part of that conversation. So the bit where she actually tells him what's gone down all happens off screen. Like you cut back in later and he's like, okay, well, it's bad, but we're going to, and I'm like, show the fucking emotion. Show the bit where he's like, what? My daughter's fucking dead.
Yeah, because it just feels like he didn't care. And he's like, oh, well, 2 was hard work, so 1's better.
Yeah.
I don't get the logic. There's no like.
I mean, I guess my
why
wife's
did you
dead,
go to the
so why not
police?
one of my
Where
kids
is the
too? Oh,
body?
well.
Like, oh, we got to do something about this. Like, there's none of that. Like,
I
if
guess I
this
should
was-
go and bang a cop soon. Yeah, that's what I should
this
do.
was my twin daughters and one had killed the other, like I would be like, you're dead to me now. How could you do that? Like now I have no daughters. Like,
yeah.
Go and turn
But
yourself in.
also, would you
piece of
not
shit.
be like, fuck, let's go and get it? Because, like, how do you know she's dead, 15-year-old girl? Maybe we should take her to the fucking
Yeah.
hospital and get somebody to check a femoral pulse or something.
Sorry,
Like,
Dad,
we
it's
could
too
just
late.
bury
We
her.
chucked her in the ocean. Like,
and to be fair, that was also a problem with the movie.
exactly. Yes.
You're teenagers. You don't know how to tell if a person is dead, you morons.
But also,
Anyway.
Ryan Phillippe was very scary in that movie and was quite aggressive. However, the
was
boys in
very
this one
aggressive.
were pushovers.
They were massive
say,
pushovers.
The boys in this one I find so like bizarrely kind of nothingy. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
I know.
like there's a couple of characters in there. I mean, Hot Dad, yeah, he's kind of whatever. There's angry guy at the convenience store. He's a bit of a dick. And then there's, I guess, one who's supposed to be
gay best
attractive
friend.
leading, gay best friend, who is probably the most interesting, but is also gone. Pretty fucking quickly.
Spoilers, Quinny. Everyone's going to watch this now that they've listened to us rave about it.
That was a cool murder, though.
That was the best murder that we had. And
Yeah.
also, let's talk a little bit about fucking killing your gays.
Well, yeah.
We're barely even started the fucking series, and the two out gays are the ones who are killed the most viciously and the most obviously on screen. What the fuck?
Yeah. This is why no slack is being cut.
Yeah.
Like, just, it just doesn't hit anything that you want something that is made for a Gen Z audience to hit. And I just find that so very disappointing.
I mean, like having somebody being menaced by a large Ford truck, a black Ford truck, that's not particularly scary. It happens for fucking however many episodes, and it's just like, yes, it's a truck.
Yeah,
we don't care unless, like, where's our dude wearing the the rain slicker, and there is just no menace to it.
No.
Well, I think if the thing is that we haven't seen the killer / killers slash like whoever else may be involved in this, and I think because they need to draw the mystery out over a season, being able to see the general build even would certainly have kind of ruined the first 3 or 4 episodes in terms of your theory about who it could have been. So I kind of get that they can't do that, but there are a lot of other ways to create suspense. There are a lot of other ways to draw out a feeling of horror. But I don't even know if it's trying to do that. It just feels like a basic murder mystery / drama to me. Like, it just doesn't feel like a scary thing at all. And like I said, the original book that the source material came from wasn't a slasher or a horror. So maybe we should be looking to the source material rather than the 90s slasher that we're all very fond of, because it was our time, guys, to hold it up against.
The thing is, do we really want to? No. Do you want to go read the book now after watching any of this?
I mean, to be honest, not really. I think the book is, was a kind of a popular young adult thriller. They're not the kind of young adult books I like to read anyway, so it probably isn't something that I would seek out, to be honest. I watched the movie because it had Sarah Michelle Gellar and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Like, otherwise I probably wouldn't even have watched it. I wasn't like, slasher hasn't, even though I have enjoyed horror in the past, slasher has never been my genre.
Right. I must admit,
I'm not too much like violence for the sake of violence to me.
I'm not a massive slasher fan. I prefer my horror a little more kind of cerebral. I like my horrors eldritch. I like a bit of tentacles in the dark and
ooh, Quinny likes a tentacle in the dark.
Well, you know how it is. I like things that play with your mind as much as with the blood and the gore and everything like that. And yes, Carrie, somebody will clip that, I guarantee you. But this, like, I mean, there's all these little kind of hints in there too towards other things, like there was a cult that killed themselves. There's somebody else, like there's a lady who's hanging around who is clearly someone important. There's a dead mum. There's all these things that are kind of thrown into the mix, and whether they're all red herrings or whether they're just, I don't know, some other shitty surf shop that I don't go to.
I think the best thing about slasher though is there is an element of a thrill, and it's because you don't know where the next scare is going to come from, and there's the mystery of like who the killer is. This has none of that. There is absolutely no suspense of like waiting for that next thrill to come in an episode. It's all just very, I don't know, methodically plodding along and just giving us information about characters that we have no connection or care about, and then not developing those storylines either. Just sort of like, oh, you're getting to know this person and now they're dead. And
oh, by the way, we're going to introduce in episode 3 a goofy cop who you're just like, good, great.
Yeah.
I don't care about him
and
either.
then by the end of the episode, doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I figured. And I was like, God, I think the idea of trying to do a slasher show as a TV show is tricky anyway, just because the format is so clear. You've got your people, you've got your deaths, and then you pick them off 1 little, 2 little, 3 little, and away you go.
Well, that is where I would like to gently sidestep into something else that I started watching in relation to this, and it was on Netflix, and it's Scream, the TV series. And I thought, I wonder how they do it. And you know what? Shit done better than they've done on this one. So
really?
if you are looking for something that fits in that slasher horror genre, not unlike, I know we did last summer, the film, and Scream, the film, Scream, the TV series, actually manages to accomplish it. So it's, I think it had like 2 or 3 seasons.
Well, I'm gonna do you want to have a quick look at that? Like, we've got a trailer for that now.
Yeah, let's go.
Are we going to kind of rate, or are we just going to like rate at the end?
Well, we're all going to give it 2 out of 100.
Let's have a look at the trailer, and then we'll come back and we'll have a ratings and a stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Music on.
Tyler?
You can't do a slasher movie as a TV series. Slasher movies burn bright and fast.
Nina, are you home?
By the time the first body is found, it's only a matter of time before the bloodbath commences.
Say get a room, but I don't want the cleanup.
You slept with Nina.
No. Wait.
You have a dark mind.
You have no idea.
Everyone has secrets. Everyone tells lies. And everyone is fair game.
Shit. 6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
kind of it flew under the radar a little bit. But it's similar to the movie in that you have like the tropey characters. So the one in the trailer that's like, oh, you can't do a slasher as a TV series. He's obviously the guy from the movie that knew all about how horror movies worked, And then you've got like, the love triangles and all that bullshit. And it's like, oh, well, who's doing this? And then you've also got a mystery that like involves the parents of one of the kids. And so it all follows the Scream principle quite well. And it does have a gory slasher death in every episode. Like the opening of it is brilliant. Like it is full on. I haven't finished the first season, but I will probably continue to watch that one over I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah, it's just seems to be a little bit easier to follow, like not as convoluted a storyline. Very simple, just campy murder, and yeah.
Okay.
And no weird like kids, 15-year-olds doing MDMA and bullshit like that. It's like, just
Come on, that's what we're here
just
for.
being pressured into sex. Like that's all we want.
That's what it all comes down to in the end, isn't it? It's
Yes.
just about being pressured into sex that they didn't particularly want, and then going, "Oh yeah, no, we'll okay, fine."
Yeah.
Oh man.
I remember. I mean, I can't because I wasn't watching it with a critical eye, but I remember having a lot of fun with Scream Queens as well.
Okay.
You know, as a
I haven't seen
potentially
that one.
slasherish style. I think it's Ryan Murphy. It's got a very Ryan Murphy vibe.
Yes, it is.
And I wouldn't I didn't run around telling everyone to watch it, but I remember like it was kind of a fun watch. And it's the funness that's really missing from this for me. It's like they've gone full like teen angsty drama and sapped everything that was fun for us about the movie out of it. And then I just don't know what's left for me there as an audience. Although it's possible. It's entirely possible that I will hate watch a few more episodes just because I can't believe that it can't get better.
I kind of want to know like what the story is with the dad and the weird cult lady. Like I kind of want to know what's happening there, and I just want to keep watching Hot Dad. But I don't care about these kids. Can we just murder them all now and get on with it? Like,
do you guys have any running theories as to who the killer is?
Well, okay, there's my problem. I don't care. Like that to me is the biggest fucking problem with this. Somebody's killing him. I don't care who. Maybe it's the kid with the salt lick goat thing.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. I'm. Maybe it's going to go completely left field, and it's Courtney, the housekeeper.
I mean, no, that's too obvious. She's too obviously creepy. Like she's obviously a red herring. My running theory is Hot Dad.
I could imagine
everybody who has been murdered so far has been close to figuring out that Lennon is Allison. I could be wrong because I'm not quite sure how solid the setups are here. But also, it's a very good reason to get into a relationship with the local police chief if you want to be getting intel.
And he's kinky. We know that.
Oh, it's so kinky.
So, yeah, Doc Forrest. I'm not sure whether you need to drop acid to make it worth watching. I don't.
No,
it's not
I
going to
think
help.
anything will help it.
No, it's really not. Look, I do want to show you a clip of one of the bits of it because I do feel like it. The trailer gave you a bit of an idea, but I want to show you this bit just to sort of have a look at what it's actually like because it's not. The eternal question: what the fuck is it? It's a burrito.
I mean, I don't think that nobody will like this. I just didn't.
Wow, there were some negatives in there.
I just don't know who would like it.
Well, like I said, we're not the target audience. And we've come into it expecting a very different thing to what we've been served. I am not super into like teen drama-y things. I haven't even tried to watch Pretty Little Lies, and that kind of seems like a little bit more along the lines of what this is trying to be than the original I Know What You Did Last Summer movie. So I just think on so many levels this is not for me. I can see that it could be for someone else. I don't know that person personally.
Sorry, Gary's nailed it there. I've heard him damning with fame, but I don't think nobody will like this. Yeah. Like, that's not one you put on a poster.
But you do put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I don't think nobody will
Nobody would like this.
Well, the thing is, I have seen enough response to it to know that mostly nobody likes this. It hasn't been at all received well, and has the general thing is, oh shit, that's a bit ordinary.
And even though it hasn't finished airing, usually if something's a hit, it will get greenlit for another season, and there has been no talk of another series. So who knows if this gets wrapped up or not.
I mean, who knows, and also kind of who cares.
One of the most disappointing things is that fucking James Wan is an executive producer on this. I'm like, dude, how many goddamn Saw movies did you make? Like, why can't you get this right?
Blue M&M says it's me. I love trash TV. I've watched all the Pretty Little Lies, and I love trash TV too. Just not teen drama trash TV. Like I need, like if I'm going to do teen drama trash TV, you have to throw in some kind of supernatural or sci-fi element to make it work.
Look,
so I'll watch The Vampire Diaries.
I can enjoy trash TV, but usually the only thing that gets me to keep watching it is there's some little guilty pleasure to it. I'm just not finding any pleasure in this show besides the dad. But like, what's eye candy got to do with it? I just need something to stimulate the brain a little.
Even from a base level, dude looking at this show going, yeah, chicks. Even that, like, none of them have a personality that makes you go, I want to know more about you. I want to, engage with you. Like, usually if there's a show, you want to perv on somebody, you like, they're funny, they're whatever. But in this, it's just like, nah.
Like, even trying to put myself into the opposite gender's perspective at the moment of like what guys look at girls and why they watch TV shows for like hot chicks. I've got to say, I don't think these girls are kind of hitting those stereotypes. Like, none of them have big breasts. None of them are particularly hot.
I don't think big breasts are fashionable anymore. They're all very, very slender, slight girls.
They're all skinny little skeletons with like not much going on in the brain. And I'm like,
yeah.
Look, I mean, Alison is supposed to be quite smart.
Yeah,
but then she has
does nothing to
be
prove
Lennon,
it.
So. No, wait.
I mean,
Lennon's the one that's supposed to get good grades.
Yeah, she's the one that went to. She was the one that got into the university that Alison is going to, right?
Yeah, well, so hang on. Lennon was the one who succeeded at life and was going places, whereas Alison was the one who wasn't.
Yes.
But at the same time, see, this is the thing. Lennon was also the massive party girl and the one who's, had a massive drug problem and clearly had a whole bunch of other shit going on. And you're like, so hang on, who's the good person here? Who's the one?
Again, not the target audience.
Yeah. I like the way Doc Forrest just put it, the Tide Pod generation.
Oh, no. That's unkind.
Oh,
that
it's
is
unkind. It's very funny.
That is unkind. I
if
think that
these
they're a
kids run out of
generation that are
meth-
actually very discerning about content.
Well, once Burrito Girl runs out of her meth connection, they're going to have to like settle for Tide Pods.
Look, I don't know. Is there much more that I think we've like?
Oh,
is there much more that we can complain about?
Probably not. Wait until it finishes, and then we'll let you know.
I am fascinated to know what the fuck they were thinking of with their.
I'm proved wrong in terms of like, there's suddenly some amazing twist that ties everything up, and I'm like, oh my god, actually, it was genius. I will let you know.
So you are going to watch the rest of this one, Pete? You're going to watch it out?
I'm not promising. There is a.
I think there's only 3.
If I'm really bored, I may hate watch a couple more episodes to see what's going on between Hot Dad and Lennon.
There's literally 3 more episodes, and that's it.
Oh, see, I've made a 5-episode commitment so far. It kind of feels like I should round it out.
Yeah.
This is what's called the sunk cost fallacy, Peter. Like this is the definition of the sunk cost fallacy. Well, I've watched 5 episodes, so I may as well watch until the end of the 8. Can't possibly be a waste of my entire fucking time. Yes. Yes,
I
it
watch
can.
so much time watching absolute bullshit though. Like I can't be on my high horse about that.
Casper, no. I tried. I tried a few more episodes of The Watch and couldn't do it. Could not finish the series.
I
yeah.
did not try.
I
did not try. I also have not watched any more of Kung Fu. Sorry, Jill.
Ah!
I just couldn't. I couldn't get the interest
fine.
up. Yeah. These things do happen. Yeah. Okay. So, do we have a rating for it? Are we going to attempt to rate this?
I don't even know where to start on what to give it. Like, I don't like the show. I don't know that
Warehouse 13 is quite good, Casper. Sorry, now I'm just reading what the chat's watching at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
Warehouse
fun things
13's a
than
lot of
what we've
fun.
been watching.
I don't think I'm indifferent about it, so maybe I'd give it like a 35.
Right.
I'm feeling a strong 30 on this one. Only because, like, I don't, like, hate it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it doesn't offend me to my core. But
Mm.
there are quite a few things about it that do offend me. So 30 seems reasonable. But then it just feels so mean. People worked really hard.
Did they, though? Did they work hard?
No, it's still really hard to make something that's shit.
It's true.
I mean, you see what's going on with all of the crew unions and stuff over there, actually trying to fight for half decent hours because they all work 16-hour days, 7-day weeks, and kill themselves doing it. People did that for this. And we're just being mean about it. And like that makes me feel a bit icky, to be honest. But I am being a bit honest about how my experience watching it.
Okay, so the thing is, like, yes, we understand that people worked very hard on it, and people, did a lot of night shoots, and people worked their asses off, and there are special effects technicians, and there's makeup artists, and there are people who've done a lot of really good work on this. But at its heart, it's a bit shit, and the producers are the ones to. So I lay the blame for it at the feet of the producers, not at the people who did the work. To them,
no, it's not their fault.
Paycheck.
Like they got paid to do a job, and they did that job. It's the people that wrote the story.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, yes, the writers do have a lot to answer for.
Yeah, the writers and the producers—they're the ones that essentially at the core,
the marketing team.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean,
Because if
those
everyone's gone in
yes.
with different
Goddamn
expectations.
wimps. God damn. Wimps. Just put blood on the poster. Stop pussing around. Just do it.
Doc Forrest has the 3-episode test. I have the same thing. I have a 3-episode commitment to anything that somebody has told me to try. I just happen to do 5 for this because there's 5 out. And it's not hard to watch. You can just let one run. Like, it's not like you have to pay that much attention.
No, but even then, like I found myself, I watched the first one and I was like, fuck, this is a slog. Second one I did because I was like, okay, I've got to do more than one because it's a review thing. Third one, I was just like, I'll put it on between cooking dinner and doing the podcast because I'll see if I can try and get 3 down. But it was like trying to swallow gravel. It was fucking hard work. And Gary makes a good point. Parks and Rec would fail the 3-episode test. That's why I haven't watched it.
Schitt's Creek would fail the 3-episode test. I don't know how many people I have begged to watch the first season of that because it's hard to get people to commit to it, but I know that it's beautiful and they have to.
I tell people just skip the first season of Parks and Rec and go straight to season 2. Like,
yeah.
And maybe I should do that.
Yeah, Quinny. Season 1 is only 6 episodes. You don't miss anything. Swear to God, just go straight. Just start from season 2. You'll work it out.
Okay. I'll give a go at that because
watch the first
after 2
episode. You'll
episodes
see
of it, I
how
was like,
bad it is, and then just go to season 2.
Because I have watched the first episode and couldn't quite work
there you
out
go.
where I was at. So I was like,
skip it. Skip it.
Okay.
You know what we need, Quinny? We need
What do we need?
Parts of Rec watch party for Quinny where we all get together and make sure Quinny doesn't leave the room until at least 3 episodes have gone by.
Okay. Yeah.
Just keep
I'm
pointing
down
at the
for
TV
this.
going, huh? Huh?
Huh? Look, it's funny. Funny. Laugh.
Are you
All I can
not
think-
entertained?
All I can think of is Jareth from the Labyrinth. Just, well, laugh.
There will
I
not
like
be
it.
the watch party.
Yeah, no.
No one is that.
That's a cruelness, a cruelness intention. Okay, so what have we got coming up later this week? Oh, and also I haven't rated it.
Oh, fuck's sake. Come on.
25. It's shit.
Done.
yeah.
Friday. We are. It's almost Halloween. We are doing spoopy animates on Friday. Talking about
Yes.
creepy, Halloweeny, scary cartoons.
I'm very excited. I'm super pumped for it. And yes, of course, Will, Jill, myself, and a special guest this time, Amiable.
Yay!
So it'll be a lot of fun. And make sure that you've watched some cool, spooky cartoons. I noticed that there's a new series of Courage the Cowardly Dog that started this week in America. And I'm like, cool, didn't watch the old one.
No.
But that kind of thing I do enjoy. And I got to say, I'm a bit of a fan of one particular series of Scooby-Doo. Like, there's one, I think it was Mystery Incorporated, which was very different from all the others. And I'm like, why didn't they do it like that from the start? So anyway.
And we will be working very hard on putting a schedule together for next month. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yes, absolutely. So we know that the month is starting soon. There are some things that I pretty much guarantee you will be on there. There will probably be some Shangers, some Shang-Chi.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah. Quinny and I have seen it at the movies, but I think we'll wait till Disney Plus just in case.
Yeah, I watched a movie in a cinema. It was so nice. It was such an amazing thing to sit there and the lights went down and I could smell popcorn and it was just like, I'm back.
Maybe we'll get a cheeky Eternals or maybe a Dune review next month.
I would imagine that June will probably make an appearance. And yes, I believe 12th of November is the Shang-Chi streaming release. So no doubt it'll be after that. Eternals, yes, 5th of November kicking on. There's Lock and Key Series 2. There's Maya and the Three, which is a new series that's coming out on Netflix, or is out on Netflix, that looks amazing. Which, who knows? There are so many options for November, and you're going to be able to suggest a few too. So yay. Do you want us to review Squid Game?
I've watched it. I have opinions.
Yeah, I watched it too. We couldn't
I
have
have
opinions of it
opinions.
in front of you.
There we go.
Okay.
Maybe we could do that next week.
Okay.
While we wait
I'm-
for Shang-Chi to drop on Disney.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Keep an eye out. There will be some graphics out telling you what we're going to do. What we're going to do. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to try and work out how to share outro music because that's apparently what we do now. I'd love to try and raid somebody else, but I do not have the capacity to do so using StreamYard. So thank you so much for joining us. I have been Quinny.
I've been Jill.
I've been Peter.
And we've been the
Enjoy your
Periodic
week.
Table.
Bye.
Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. Deep-powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have 'em teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. With martial arts from iron fist and wall, call Dazzler up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cool. restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers Assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're right up cheeky now. Date Emma Frost and have her read my mind. Or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Bucky Barnes and arm wrestle for hours. Visit MA and bring her lots of flowers. Oh,